It was the autumn of 1888. London's East End was cloaked in fog, fear, and silence. A killer was loose in the slums of Whitechapel, brutal, precise, and untraceable. He didn't just murder, he mutilated, and he vanished into the night. To this day, his identity remains a mystery. This is the terrifying story of Jack the Ripper, the world's first modern serial killer. Whitechapel was a rough place. Crowded alleys, starving families, streets filled with crime, sickness, and prostitution. In 1888, thousands lived in poverty in this London district. Women sold their bodies to survive. Police were overwhelmed. And then the murders began. The first victim was Mary Ann Nichols, found in Bucks Row on August 31st, 1888. Her throat was slashed, her abdomen mutilated. It was brutal, but not yet known to be the work of a serial killer. Then came Annie Chapman, just over a week later, September 8th. Found in a backyard on Hanbury Street, her intestines were laid out beside her body. Her womb had been removed. London panicked. Newspapers exploded with horror headlines. Police began connecting the killings, similarities in method, target, and timing. The killer seemed to focus on middle-aged sex workers, attacking them in the dead of night with surgical precision. It was clear he had anatomical knowledge. Many believed the murderer was a butcher or even a doctor. Then, on September 30th, the killer struck twice. Elizabeth Stride was found first. Her throat was slashed, but her body was left largely untouched, likely interrupted mid-act. Just 45 minutes later, Catherine Eddowes was discovered. Her face slashed, intestines draped over her shoulder, and a kidney missing. It became known as the double event. Panic turned to hysteria. The killer now had a name: Jack the Ripper. The name came from a letter sent to a London news agency. It was written in blood-red ink and signed, "Yours truly, Jack the Ripper." Though some believe it was a hoax by journalists, it forever stamped the killer's name in history. In early October, another letter arrived, this time with half a human kidney. The writer claimed to have eaten the other half and mocked the police. The fear gripped not just London, but the entire world. The final canonical victim, Mary Jane Kelly, was found on November 9th, inside her room at Miller's Court. What the police found was beyond comprehension. Her body was unrecognizable. She had been disemboweled, skinned, and nearly decapitated. Her internal organs were scattered across the room. It was the most horrific of all the murders. And then it stopped. Just like that, the trail went cold. No more bodies, no more letters. The police had over 100 suspects, including Montague John Druitt, a barrister who died by suicide shortly after the final murder; Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant and mentally ill barber; Prince Albert Victor, a royal figure tied to conspiracy theories; Walter Sickert, an artist obsessed with death and dark sexuality. Even H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer, has been suggested. But none could be proven. Modern DNA testing on old evidence has produced controversial results. In 2014, researchers claimed DNA from a shawl near a victim pointed to Kosminski, but many scientists question the chain of evidence. To this day, Jack the Ripper's identity remains unknown. But what made him unforgettable was not just the murder, it was the fear, the mystery, the letters, the silence between killings, and the brutal, almost surgical way he ended his victims. He didn't just take lives, he changed history. The Ripper case exposed how fragile law enforcement was, how deep poverty ran, and how media could spread fear faster than facts. Jack the Ripper gave birth to the serial killer mythos, and over a century later we are still haunted by the man who wore the night as his mask. Thank you for watching this full documentary on Jack the Ripper. If this story fascinated or disturbed you, please like, subscribe, and share with your fellow true crime lovers. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember, some monsters were never caught.